Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel. I'm not going to lie to you. I know that people say you shouldn't get excited because you've not beaten anybody yet. But when we take a look at this in a couple of moments time, you guys might understand why at 7 a.m. on the 1st of July 2025, with Chelsea sitting comfortably in the draw for the Club World Cup quarterfinals, don't mind me whilst I get very excited indeed that we are not on the side of the draw of Paris Saint-Germain. We're not on the side of the draw of Bayern Munich or Real Madrid, Dortmund, Juventus, European football giants. They are all the way over there. Look, beneath my face right now, that is where they are hanging out. And Chelsea, as much as I don't want to sit here disrespecting Fluminense, Palmeiras, Hilal, I'm sorry, but they're just not PSG or Real Madrid or Bayern Munich, all right? I'm sorry, but that is literally what it is, okay? So I wanted to get that out the way now because realistically, right, I'm making this video for you lot to watch in the morning, and I genuinely think now Chelsea have got a really potentially nice route to the final of this Club World Cup. So before we go through the early morning news updates and my thoughts on a couple of things, because I want to touch a bit more on the defensive side of transfers today. Mohamed Kudus as well. We'll talk about him a little bit more. But let's first of all delve into this Club World Cup draw. Make sure you're subscribed to GBFC and smack a like on this video if you think we can get to the final. Now, I don't want to get carried away because we have still got to win the quarterfinal against Palmeiras on July the 4th at 9 p.m. in Philadelphia. But Fluminense today, they beat Inter Milan. I thought they were going to win that game. I think Inter have looked leggy from that Champions League run. They look a little bit lost right now after losing Inzaghi. Fluminense, again, absolutely fantastic. They dug deep. Man City, Al Hilal. The website's not updated yet, but Al Hilal are basically where my cursor is right now. They're playing Fluminense before our match. Palmeiras beat Botafogo 1-0 thanks to a goal in extra time. And Chelsea, of course, as we know, we dismantled, destroyed, capitulated. No, we didn't capitulate. Benfica capitulated as we beat them 4-1. Now, if you look beneath me here, PSG and Bayern Munich, emphatic wins, both scoring 4 goals, but one of them goes out in the quarterfinal. Tomorrow, you got Real Madrid versus Juventus and Borussia Dortmund versus a very strong Mexican side in Monterrey. So you got PSG Bayern Munich here. I think PSG will win. I think Real Madrid will beat Juventus. And I've got a feeling Monterrey beat Dortmund and then Real Madrid will make it into the semis. So PSG versus Real Madrid is my semi-final prediction. And I think that game will be a very, very close one. I don't think I can pick a winner between PSG and Real Madrid if that is the semi-final on the 9th of July. So let's say Chelsea do win against Palmeiras, which, look, I'm not going to lie to you, okay? I think we should beat Palmeiras. I think we will have learnt now from the game against Flamengo, which ended up being probably the most important result of our tournament, if we're being quite honest about it. If we would have won against Flamengo, then we would have faced Bayern Munich in the last 16. But instead we had Benfica and we scored 4 and beat them. So I think we should beat Palmeiras. Then it's Fluminense or Al Hilal. And look, I just watched Al Hilal against Manchester City. And I want to say huge credit to Al Hilal. They surprised me. I thought they were amazing on the counter. They've got great players in there that can hurt you with passing in the middle. They've got runners. They work so hard. And Bono in goal is a remarkable goalkeeper. Some of the saves he made to keep Al Hilal in the game, in the lead at the game. Oh, honestly, what a goalkeeper. What a keeper. But if we bring it up again, I'm sorry, but I can't sit here on GBFC and pretend that I love speculating in football. And with knockout football, you've got this, like, you look at the draw and there's obviously teams you want to play or that you don't want to play. And I think Chelsea being here and being in this side of the draw with Fluminense, Al Hilal and Palmeiras, why shouldn't we get to this flipping game? Why should we not be in the final on the 13th of July? And I think that's the best way of looking at it. Instead of saying, yeah, Chelsea are going to win it. It's easy. It's not easy. Palmeiras are not going to be easy. Esteval's team, it's not going to be easy. Neither with Fluminense or Al Hilal. But I can sit here with more confidence saying, yeah, I think we can beat them lot rather than PSG, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich. And then when you get to the final, you're then a product of everything that's been before you. Chelsea beating Benfica emphatically the way that we did the other night. This is going to push us forward, propel us. I know that it was extra time, but we had so many fresh legs on the field. We were playing against 10 men, so we certainly didn't have to exert as much as Al Hilal did. For example, Fluminense have got flipping 2 or 3 players in their starting 11 that are over 40 years old, including Thiago Silva. So there is also a narrative here where Esteval could knock us out. It could happen for Palmeiras. Then it could be Thiago Silva knocking us out for the Brazilian side Fluminense, or it's going to be Al Hilal. Everyone is laughing at the Saudi League. Oh, it's not very good. Well, they just beat Man City, and I must admit, right, throughout this entire tournament, I think City have been the most impressive up until that game, up until tonight, where Al Hilal have won 4-3. It was an incredible game of football, even in extra time. Rayan Cherki comes on and puts in the most delectable cross, and Phil Foden gets his toe on the end of it. Beautiful goal. But Al Hilal were superior over the course of the 90 to being decisive in front of goal. And credit to them. But this half of the draw now for Chelsea, I can't not get excited. I'm sorry. Like, I know that some people get annoyed about these things, jinx, whatever bullshit. Like, if you don't get excited about like dreaming and believing in football, then what's the point? Honestly. So let me know in the comments down below, what do you think is going to happen here? Because I think Chelsea should beat Palmeiras. I really do. I believe that we will. Let's take a little look at the latest here. Simon Phillips has told us that today there's going to be more information on his website about Mohamed Kudus. Kudus stuff coming out in the media now. Some news on my site tomorrow on just who Kudus might replace at Chelsea should they agree a fee with West Ham. Now look, this isn't just my anti-Tottenham Hotspur bias, right? I actually will say this. Thomas Frank being the manager at Tottenham actually makes Spurs a lot more attractive of a prospect, in my opinion, than Ange Postecoglou. Thomas Frank is going to organise Spurs. As much as I don't think they're going to be Champions League contenders next season, I certainly don't think they're going to be struggling for relegation next year. The way that they were this season, just gone. I love saying it. I really, really do. But Mohamed Kudus, if Chelsea sign him, there's a fair few people right now that are of the opinion that Chelsea maybe don't need a Mohamed Kudus. Now, I must admit, you guys all know, over the course of the end of the season, moving into this transfer window, when it opened at the start of June, I was saying we need a more experienced striker. Not sure if Liam Delap is going to do it by himself. And it looks to me as though the priorities of Chelsea isn't necessarily on signing another striker, although we've been linked with a couple. It's more so on having variety in the attacking areas. So Mohamed Kudus is very much a between-the-lines kind of player, and he works incredibly hard. Now, when you combine that with the likes of Joao Pedro, and this is the latest, Chelsea have not ruled out a move for Kudus despite agreeing deals with Pedro and Gittins, which we spoke about yesterday. I personally think that Mohamed Kudus would be such a great acquisition for this Chelsea team. If you think about the press, right? Nicholas Jackson is a player that does a lot of work for Chelsea when it comes to that press. If you take Jackson out and bring Delap in, I don't think Liam Delap brings as much of that like dogged running that Nicholas Jackson brings. So in the process of doing that, you might need to sacrifice another player in that midfield to be able to get someone who's willing to do that dirty work. And I think Mohamed Kudus is that guy. If that is the case, then I believe Pedro could well be the backup to Delap and Jackson. We're stuck in a position where it could be Noni Madueke that gets sold if Mohamed Kudus comes in, because realistically, as much as when we think about Maresca's wingers, right, and we've not really spoken about Jamie Gittins as much here on GBFC as we might have done Joao Pedro and even Mohamed Kudus in the last couple of days. As much as Jamie Gittins might not be a signing that is right now a massive name in football, There's no denying, if you watch Gittins play, he's similar positionally to what we see with Jadon Sancho, but he's so much more clinical when it comes to those successful dribbles, taking his man on. Bino Gittins is a superior player to Jadon Sancho in that essence and in that sense. So with that being said, right, the right-hand side of the pitch, I would say Noni Madueke is probably, in theory, a perfect Enzo Maresca winger. He's good at taking players on, good at beating his men, where quite often Cole Palmer's drifting inside. Cucurella is inverting and coming inside as well. So it's quite often the winger for Chelsea is having to take on two players. Gittins fits that mould, and so does Noni Madueke. Are we going to see here a change from Chelsea this season? Is it going to be Neto starts on the right, which at the moment, Neto starts all day for me over Noni. And if you sell Noni Madueke, then you probably bring Mohamed Kudus in. And there is heavy interest from Arsenal. I think that is going to move quickly, potentially over the course of the next week or so. I think Madueke is going to end up at Arsenal. And there's also interest from Newcastle too. So as well as that, the Club World Cup money. If Chelsea do make it to the final, this is a serious chunk of P. So with that being said, Chelsea signing Kudus, then everyone's like, well, how are you going to afford it? I think Kudus would be a brilliant addition to this Chelsea team, even if it is just for that additional work rate in that press to win us the ball back in the final third. I think it would take a lot of pressure off of Cole Palmer to find himself in better positions to just worry about that final pass or final shot. So also, if we bring this up here from Simon Phillips, we touched upon this yesterday. Maresca wants a new goalkeeper and a centre-back. Antonio Silva was scouted again last night. I know I spoke about this in the last video, but that centre-back, Chelsea at the moment, we are very heavy when it comes to attackers. But I must admit, watching us at the end of last season, I think from December onwards, the biggest issue that we had was actually the attack. I think when it comes to the defence, I think the club are going to probably keep Trevor Chalobah now. I think Levi Colwiller's absolutely grown. But I think when it comes to the defenders, I think it's going to take a bit more time. But I still think Disasi's going to go. I think we could still see Badiashile go. There's a lot of interest still from Marseille. And I think when it comes to getting player sales out the door, I think Chelsea are going to try and get all of those attackers in now, where there's a lot of competition for players, and then aggressively move potentially for centre-backs. And I think winning the Club World Cup, even financially, could certainly help us in that department. So what do I think we still need? Mohamed Kudus at this point, having signed Joao Pedro and Bino Gittins, look, it's still not an experienced goal scorer that guarantees you 20 goals a season, but I'm backing Liam Delap right now. I really am. I think he's going to bring a lot to this Chelsea team. So the attack would look stacked with Mohamed Kudus in it. Pedro Neto in brilliant form. If he carries that into the season, excellent. And Jamie Bino Gittins absolutely fits the way that Maresca wants to play, coming off that left side. We still do need a top keeper. That is where I want experience. That is where we need to look at the keepers that we've got at the club already. Sanchez, Jorgensen, they're not Premier League title challenging standard. They're not. And Maresca knows it. And Mike Penders won't be ready. But he's supposedly going to be great in a few years. Go and get that experienced goalkeeper. Go and get that person that people can look up to and trust at the back. And look, ter Stegen. We spoke about ter Stegen the other day. Maybe it is ter Stegen for a year or two. Get him in incredibly cheap and you'll be able to see, like, okay, does this work or not? There's also Mike Maignan. I still think if we were to go back in for him, we absolutely should. And look, maybe Chelsea do get a bargain with Mohamed Kudus. Maybe as a result of Chelsea paying the, 55, 60 million that West Ham want for Kudus, maybe that does then open the door for West Ham to go for a Sanchez or a Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. As much like Kiernan Dewsbury Hall at the moment, I thought he was excellent against Benfica and has quietly been very good most of the season for Chelsea, to be fair. But still, maybe there's no space in the squad for him if Chelsea are going to sign Joao Pedro, which we have, and Mohamed Kudus. So that leaves the centre-back position. Antonio Silva at Benfica has been incredibly impressive in this tournament. Even against Chelsea the other day, I thought Antonio Silva was very good. Obviously, there was dreams a month or so ago. We're talking about, it'd be great if Chelsea signed Bastoni. We know that's not going to happen. So Joel Hatto is also another name in the hat. It was was a very, very weak one for this point of the video, I must say. He's, again, another option that could fit in centre-back, left-back. Will Chelsea turn to Renato Vega again? It's interesting, but I certainly believe we will still be in for those defenders. But I think it's good that the club have prioritised the attacking areas, because I do think we severely lacked there last season, and we're losing even more going into the start of next season. So no matter what you think about how much we're spending, we definitely needed to buy players there. I think there's no denying that one. But anyway, I'm going to bring this graphic up one more time. Are we going to make this final? I really, really wanted to get this 7 a.m. video out for you guys today because, wow, that was insane. Al Hilal beating Man City 4-3. Why not? I'm dreaming. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Probably be a second video out later on today. Thanks for all the love recently. We're almost at 340k subscribers. So hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you are new. Come on, you Blues.